There are stories of people vanishing overnight, not running, not hiding, just gone. And the ones who knew them, they don't talk. Because maybe, just maybe, those people didn't disappear. Maybe they left beyond the sky, over London, to somewhere else, somewhere safe, somewhere they call sanctuary.
Or maybe they got overwhelmed, threw their phone in the river, and finally moved out of their ex's apartment. You know, Occam's razor.
Throughout mythology, we find tales of secret departures, divine ascents, hidden realms, chosen exiles. Sanctuary evokes this same kind of mythic shape. A goodbye, yes, but one that echoes with transformation.
It reminds me of what Alfred Adler called the creative self, that inner drive to choose growth over stagnation. This isn't about disconnection, it's about reclaiming direction. In some traditions, stepping away isn't an escape, it's an act of healing, a movement toward the core self.
Or maybe it's something bigger, a jump point, a beacon for those who see through the veil.
Okay, Neo, let's maybe pump the brakes before we start mapping out wormholes.
I'm Professor Orion Kale, Senior Fellow of Comparative Mythology at Eldermore University.
I'm Dr. Evelyn Hartman, psychologist and occasional voice of reason.
And I'm Vincent Vex Langley, truth seeker, system disruptor, and the only one here willing to tell you what's really going on.
And I'm Steph Parker, music journalist for the Bay Bee at Southside Bay Community College, here to remind everyone that sometimes a song just hits you right. You know?
Tonight, we explore the song Sanctuary by William Is, a track filled with longing, transformation, and buried transmissions.
And we're following that signal wherever it leads.
Even if it leads to another dimension?
Or right back home to yourself.
This is Shifting Awake. Let's begin with the first verse. Innocence is fleeting now, above the sky and over London. Dealing out secret goodbyes, the cell goes dead. I know it's over. Now, there's an almost mythic finality here. The departure isn't loud. It's quiet, private, like slipping through a hidden door. In ancient myths, a character vanishes into another world to begin their transformation. This feels like that. Think of the Celtic tale of Oisin, who is lured away to the mystical land of Tirnunog. He leaves his world behind for what seems like days, but when he returns, centuries have passed. Here, William taps into that same timeless crossing.
Yes, this is the portal moment above the sky over London. That's not a metaphor. That's location data. Look up RAF Menwith Hill. It's real. One of the most secretive surveillance hubs in the world. Officially, it's a communication station, but that's a smokescreen. It's a joint US-UK signals intelligence base tied into Echelon, the global spy network. Those giant golf ball-looking things. They're intercepting satellite transmissions, internet data, and phone calls. Some say there's experimental tech there, stuff we don't even have names for yet. When the cell goes dead, that's not just losing signal. That's intentional silence. That's getting off the grid. That's being erased.
Or maybe someone finally ghosted their toxic ex. You don't need a government facility to know it's over when the phone cuts off mid-fight.
Dealing out secret goodbyes. That's powerful. This isn't just someone saying farewell. It's someone saying goodbye without the other person realizing it's goodbye. There's a quiet finality to it, like they know they're never coming back, but the people around them are unaware. That makes it even more haunting.
There's something sacred in this moment, like the idea of crossing a threshold. In rites of passage, this is known as the liminal stage, the space between identities. That's where the transformation happens.
Exactly. And Adler would say this marks the moment that fictional final goal starts shifting. The person stops trying to fix the past and starts imagining a future.
Or crossing between dimensions. Let's not sugarcoat it. When people disappear like this, poof, gone, it's not just spiritual symbolism, it's astral mechanics. This is a transmission about actual transition. The lyrics know what they're doing.
And then we reach the chorus. And with time, it comes clear, all is sanctuary.
Sounds like they've made peace with it. Like they got distance, healed a bit, and now it all makes sense.
Sanctuary is no longer a place. It's a realization. The idea that everything, even the ending, even the pain, served a purpose.
Yes, that's Adler again. His belief that people can choose meaning in their lives, even through suffering. This is the narrator stepping into authorship of their own story.
Or stepping through something bigger, and I mean way bigger. The chorus is a signal. It says you're not wrong for leaving. You were called.
Called by what, Vex? An interdimensional Uber?
Let's look at verse 2. The Vega system beckons now. Without past, without future. Hard blue jeans, dilated eyes. The cell snaps on. I pull you closer.
This is the jump point. Vega has been part of interstellar theories for decades. This isn't random. This is a destination. Back in the 1970s, astronomers and the SETI Institute even pointed radio telescopes toward Vega, suspecting it could host intelligent life. Carl Sagan's novel, Contact, and the movie it inspired used Vega as the origin point for the first extraterrestrial message. So yeah, Vega isn't just poetic, it's practically canon.
So we're just skipping right past space poetry and straight into SETI again? You know what else is canon? Science fiction. I'm not saying it isn't fun, but not everything with a space reference is a galactic roadmap. Sometimes artists just vibe with stars. It's aesthetic. It's metaphor. Let's not launch a probe every time someone mentions Vega.
But there is a psychological element to this Vega. Without past, without future, this could reflect a heightened state of awareness. In meditation, this concept represents being fully present, free from the illusions of past and future. It's about stepping outside of linear time and into something more expansive. This song could be evoking that sense of transcendence.
Can we just talk about hard blue jeans, dilated eyes? Because that is not timelessness. That is Saturday night. Lust. Definitely desire. That line's not floating in space. It's grinding on a dance floor. And the word heart isn't just descriptive. It's tactile. It's not faded jeans or worn denim. It's hard. Like something new and paired with dilated eyes. That's an altered state. That's someone under the influence of passion, of drugs, of disorientation. Whatever else the song is doing, it's not just spiritual, it's sweaty.
And maybe both are true. Maybe that's what the jump requires, something primal, something human. And let's not forget, dilated eyes. That's what happens when the brain is flooded with adrenaline, dopamine, oxytocin. Whatever's happening here, it's a neurological trigger. That's the moment before the shift.
The final lines bring it home. And I would have never known if it had all been blown, and I never would have seen the tears in your eyes.
Okay, now we're in breakup territory. That's the moment you realize what you had after it's gone. Classic.
It's grief, but not devastation. The kind that doesn't come right away, but rises slowly, after time and reflection. What was once confusing becomes meaningful. It's the kind of perspective that only arrives after you've passed through the fire and come out the other side. There's a deeper understanding of what was lost, but also, maybe more importantly, of what was gained. The song isn't just looking back in sorrow, it's harvesting wisdom. Even the pain becomes part of the sanctuary.
In mythology, the hero often returns changed, but never quite home. Think of Odysseus finally reaching Ithaca after years of wandering. He's back, but the world isn't the same. He isn't the same. That's what we hear in Williams' final stanza. It's not about getting things back the way they were. It's about honoring the path you've walked.
Or maybe they didn't come back at all. Maybe they're still out there.
Floating above London in their Levi's.
Or right here, listening, healing, becoming whole.
Some songs don't just slip through the cracks, they get pushed into them. Welcome to the Suppression Files, the part of Shifting Awake where we unpack why tracks like Sanctuary don't get the recognition they deserve.
Maybe people just don't want to turn their late night playlist into a metaphysical thesis.
Look, this isn't just about being an indie artist. It's about how the system works against music that challenges the norm. William doesn't just make songs. He creates transmissions, tracks that activate, that wake people up. And that, my friends, is exactly the kind of thing that gets you buried.
There's also a more grounded explanation. The music industry runs on visibility, placement, and pay to play. If you're not backed by a label with deep pockets, your track won't hit the curated playlists. Sanctuary is complex, dense with metaphor and meaning. That's not always what the algorithm rewards.
Exactly. What gets rewarded? Repetition, predictability, music that keeps you numb. Sanctuary does the opposite. It jolts you. The first time I heard it, I felt like I was remembering something I haven't experienced yet. That's dangerous to a system that thrives on control.
And maybe that's why it's catching on elsewhere. In Latin America, for example, we're seeing a quiet groundswell around William Is. There's a deeper connection to myth and metaphor there. Indigenous cosmologies and symbolic worldviews are part of the cultural fabric. The unconscious isn't hidden beneath layers of irony. It's honored, listened to. That changes how a song like Sanctuary is received.
Exactly. In the Andes, the concept of Pachacuti describes a time of great upheaval followed by renewal, a world turned upside down to become right again. And in Afro-Caribbean systems like Santeria, transformation is ritualized. Crossing between states of being is part of life. Magic isn't fringed there. It's real.
Okay, but that's assuming listeners are even thinking about spiritual transitions when they press play. Some of us are just vibing, not decoding.
No, Steph. What I'm saying is there's a reason the message is being received elsewhere. Maybe it's cultural openness. Maybe it's a higher sensitivity to the code. Or maybe they're just not filtering it out.
Or maybe it's just a really good song, period. You don't need a conspiracy when the music hits. You need good ears.
You always say that. But tell me this, how many artists do you know who end their song with sonic representations of hydrogen and oxygen? Who map the periodic table into music? That's not casual. That's a flair.
And that flair is subtle. If you don't know better, it just sounds like beeps. But once you know it's the sound of water, the molecular code of life embedded in the closing tones, it changes everything.
And that matters, especially in the context of William's larger body of work. Water isn't just a vibe, it's the unconscious mind. William uses it again and again as a stand-in for memory, for dreams, for the submerged parts of the psyche. It's not conspiracy, it's psychological storytelling.
Crafted to be missed by the masses, caught by the few. That's how it works.
Oh no, are we the few now? Do we need to start wearing cloaks and decoding symbols in old cathedrals? I'm just saying, I have very limited cloak storage.
Maybe not cloaks, but the beauty of a track like Sanctuary is that it rewards whatever level you choose to engage. Dance to it, decode it, dream with it. Just don't ignore it.
Or you might miss the message it was trying to send.
Fine, but if the next track comes with GPS coordinates and a warning not to trust the birds, I'm out.
That seems fair.
Let's keep going. Let's talk about how this song actually sounds. The production isn't just layered. It's deliberately expansive. The opening bass line pulses like a heartbeat, anchoring the listener while creating a sense of propulsion. And then that mystical piano melody floats in, like memory, or light breaking through cloud cover. There's contrast here, but also cohesion.
Yeah, the bass doesn't just ground you, it moves you. It's like being pulled into orbit. The synth swirl, the reverb stretches. You don't just hear this song, you enter it. It's immersive, like you're being guided into a different frequency entirely.
It's got this dreamy, floating in space energy, like if Vangelis and Tame Impala had a synth-drenched love child. You could drop this into the score of some neon-lit sci-fi epic and nobody would blink. And I mean that as a compliment. It's cinematic in the best way. Lush, emotional, a little otherworldly.
There's something emotionally strategic about the mix. The vocals are ghosted slightly behind the beat, like they're coming from somewhere just out of reach. It makes the listener lean in, pay closer attention. That's not just a stylistic choice, that's how you create intimacy in sound. And it adds to the feeling of distance that's laced through the lyrics.
And then we hit the chorus. The guitars crash in, distorted, measured. They cut through the ambience like a tear in the fabric of the song. And then they vanish. It's like a rupture in the storyline, a shock to the system before we return to the atmosphere. It's subtle, but emotionally jarring in just the right way.
It's the break, the moment of jump. You think you're in a dream, then bam, reality punches through. Or another reality. It's jarring, but that's the point. It's transition in real time. That guitar, it's like the mind catching up with the soul after it's already left. It's the sound of the veil tearing.
Or maybe it's just a killer overdub. Not everything has to represent a dimensional tear, Vex. Sometimes a sound punches because it's supposed to punch. Maybe William just wanted Sanctuary to rock. Mission accomplished. And honestly, I love that it doesn't overstay. It hits, then retreats. Like a sonic exclamation point.
And don't forget about the sonic elements of hydrogen and oxygen at the end. That's not an accident.
Or maybe he thought it sounded rad. Not everything's a cryptic message from the Galactic Council, Vex.
But that tension between the literal and the symbolic, the grounded and the transcendent, that's what makes the song so compelling. Whether you're reading into it or just feeling it, Sanctuary holds up. It's sonically layered in a way that mirrors the psychological layers of the lyrics.
Exactly. The production mirrors the journey. It starts familiar, then grows otherworldly, then crashes into clarity. It's not just a song, it's a passage. All right, After all that exploration, lyrical, psychological, cosmic, there's only one thing left to do.
Play this song. This is the moment. Put on your headphones, dim the lights, and get ready. Let it hit you in the chest, in the gut, in the pineal gland. Wherever it lands, let it land.
And don't overthink it. Just breathe. Listen, let it take you wherever you need to go. That's the real journey.
Or maybe just vibe for 3.5 minutes with a synthy breakup anthem that also slaps. Either way, this is Sanctuary by William Is.
We're sorry. This content is not available in your region.